Hey guys, it's Jamie here, and today we're going to make these very basic tags from a flyer and some book pages and create a variety of looks using very limited materials. I've done that so this is a craft activity accessible to beginners and it won't cost them a fortune in materials to take part. I've used a different technique on each one. There are many other techniques that could be used with this ink stamp and this background. If I'd gone off into those, then that would cost a beginner more and more money in materials if they didn't already have them. If you're in the Facebook group, I'll be showing you 2 designs and the next 3 are available on the full video, and you will find that link in the description. For the others, you will find all these designs time-stamped in the description below. I want to do some very simple journal tags. I've got various book pages and script here. I've got a flyer, some Mod Podge. You can use any glue, including glue stick, white, the school glue that kids use, any glue you want for this. Just cover your flyer with different size bits of book page. If you've got a couple of different styles of text, it looks nice if you can alternate that. Wrinkles don't matter, by the way. You keep going until you've covered your flyer with different bits of text, different sizes. Once you've covered your whole flyer, do go back over everything with a top layer of your glue and let everything dry. Now this is dry, I'm going to cut it into small tags. I've cut the board up into 12 different size rectangles. They're all going to be journaling cards, just different sizes for different journals. Then I'm going to take my incredibly expensive tag maker, which is a store card with a corner cut off. If you have a die cut machine, you can run Masterboards through a die cut machine. They're not too thick. Now we're going to take a watercolour crayon and scribble around the border of the tag. Dabbing your finger in a little bit of water and smudge this into your book page tag. If you want a stronger effect, just add more crayon to your edges. We're going to ink stamp in the centre here, but we want this purple or this lilac to come in to where we will be ink stamping. So before you go any further, grab your ink stamp and see how that's going to fit within that border. Only places I might want to do a bit more purple is this bit and this bit. So you can line it almost like you've stained it. You will not get a hugely even result, but it will still be pretty. I may try and get a bit more of that in. I am going to use my finger for this. You can use a brush, but I'm going to rub some white gesso into this central bit. I'd like to soften up a little bit around these edges, toning it a bit between the watercolour and the white gesso, which is probably a no-no. We're going to leave it at that because we can play with this forever and it's a background. Let that dry. The contrast here might be too stark. A couple of solutions that you could go for. You could tint this with a very light pink or purple, or you could put some coffee stained paper down. Because I'm just experimenting for tutorials, I'm going to go with stamping straight on this with a black stays on ink and see how it looks, and then the next one we might change it. I have put a slightly softer surface under here for stamping. I've been assured by more experienced people than me it helps. Also say to hold it in place so the ink has time to absorb. I don't know if you've heard that one. I'm just going with what I've been told to do. It's very faint, very faint. This is where you could do with a stamping platform, so you could come back and do it again. I think what you could do is try it, and if it doesn't work, then we're stuck. Grab a gel pen. My solution to most things, follow the lines. This could be a hack. How to pretend you've drawn something when you haven't. I'll come back then when this has been scribbled in by me. That isn't a bad little design. Now normally I would put a glaze over this, a matte varnish. I don't want to spread the watercolour too much, so what I'm going to do is just use some hairspray. Let that dry, and if it's too sticky, rub some baby powder over it. I have a feeling I may need this. I'll try stamping on a flat surface next time, see if that makes a difference. Wow, bright. You could do this with distress, vintage photo distress ink, and we can do one like that as well. And there are other ways you could do a border. This time we're going to try spraying and running it. I want to try different things. We're experimenting. See which method we like the best. So far I'm liking spraying. I might put some white in the middle there. Let that dry. I may use my airdryer on it. I'm going to try throwing on some pale lemon. And hopefully this is going to be wet enough to spread around without re-wetting it. Now I'm going in with a bit more white again. See what effect we can get. It'd be quite nice to get some smudging of some white in some different places. I might take a mustard colour round the edge. As I think this looks a bit too dark, and that's probably my fault for doing that mustard border, I'm going to try flicking my Sharpie white pen over it and get some splashes on it, which I know is quite a modern look. If I don't like it, it doesn't matter, it's only paper. I don't know whether I want to try blasting that with water or leave it. I might try seeing what happens when you hit that with water. Ooh, yum. Okay, that was worth doing, wasn't it? Okay, that's lovely. I'm going to let that dry naturally, not chase it with the airdryer this time. If you can hear banging in the background, I've got neighbours deciding to do DIY outside today, so I apologise for that. I've moved this onto this as my slightly softer surface. I'm going to try yet again to stamp this on and hope I don't have to gel pen it to get the strength that I want. Oh, it definitely printed up better this time round. So now, seeing it against the gel, which one do you prefer? The stamped one or the gel one? I think I prefer the stamped one. Let's try stamping this one. It's not as pale in the centre. Yeah, that postmark kind of ruins the image, so I think this is one where you might go in and gel pen. Tag first, because we're trying to create this halo framing effect. I don't know yet. I was thinking about doing an even darker actual edge, because I do have an espresso which is darker. What I'm actually going to do is use a black and white gel pen, and I don't know how much I do need to use the gel pen, so what I'll do is I'll start with the white, bring that in, and then if I feel I need to, I will come back in and use the black. I must admit I quite like it where the flowers are coloured in white. I think that helps it pop out a bit. I might do that on the others later. I still like the idea of staying black and white though, and not adding greens and everything. This time I want to try a monochrome one. I'm going to use glue stick to put a napkin on here. Then I shall very gently cover the top with glue stick. My brush isn't completely dry, but I am going to dry brush some gesso over the middle of this to give me a stamping area, and then take it out a bit over the rest. As that dries, I will quickly ink the edges in the black. I'm going to hope this is white enough that the image will show up. I'll just give this a quick blast of heat to make sure it's dry, and then grab the white gel pen and the black one to bring out hopefully some of this. This one has been sprayed with hairspray and needs to dry, and for our last one we're going to go back to something, well, they've all been quite simple, but simple again, using the same print. I'm going to take the Distress Oxide Victorian Velvet this time. Quick blast of water on that one. I dried that off with the heat tool. I'm not a subtle person, so I am going to strengthen those edges up. I wanted to take some white gesso over this. Quickly dry that. I have a mini seedless preserve, which is I think quite a dark purple. Oops, I moved it slightly. Oh, I don't know, though, it still shows up, doesn't it? Might actually edge it with that, but let's try it. Though it's not strictly necessary. If I've got a bit of purple left on here, I'll bring it in a bit more. Okay, and that's a colour version of the stamping, not printed perfectly, but I'm okay with that. That's the 5 big tags done. There are some spares. I did hope to get to these, but I do have another video to make today for the challenge that's going on in the Facebook group, Free Junk Journal Printables and Tutorials. I'll link that in the description below. I don't have time to do these. I'll put them in the to-do box, and we might have a video where we just catch up with the to-dos. As you can tell, while these all look similar, I tried to use different techniques, but limiting what was being used so that it's available to beginners and they don't have to buy a lot of things. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Do consider subscribing. It is a free way to support this channel and the videos that are made to go on this channel. Let me know which one is your favourite out of these 5, and I will see you next time.